uh, one idea about opinions. Where is the opinion? Where is the judgment of the thing? Can we see that the judgment is inside me, but the thing is outside of me? Can we see for a moment that a thing is a thing, but my opinion, my judgment is inside of me? And that there are two different things. Whatever the object be, whatever the thing be, could be a thing like that thing we call God, or a thing we could call rain, or a thing like a day that we judge like a good or bad day. But can we see by ourselves? Can I personally see that it's inside me, that I qualify, I judge a day has bad day inside of me, or a good day inside of me, in my movie, in the movie of my life? But another different thing is the day. If that is proved inside, it's absolutely with no doubt, then we can go to another step. Is that the thing? It's impossible to see. The thing, in the whole sense of meaning of the thing, it's impossible to see with the eyes of the flesh. Because the thing, it's not just that material thing. Because the thing is much more than the light that flows and has a reflection effect on the material things and come inside the eyes and become information. The thing, it's a lot more than the image I can perceive. I can perceive a very, very, very small information of the thing. And the thing has many, many different levels of energy. For example, an apple. An apple is just not the body of the apple. There's also an energy inside the apple. So an apple that we perceive has a red apple and another has a green apple. Our perception is not the apple. Um, even opening the object, opening the apple physically, we can perceive the light, we can perceive the flavor. But what is the flavor? Can we perceive? What can we perceive? The light is a wave that enter in the system. But the color is a lie. I mean, the color does not exist. Red color or green color is just a judgment of the nature of the wave. But the color is not in the object. The apple is not red and green because the atoms cannot be red or green. So we have always thought that the apple is green or red, but there is not red in the apple. The fact is that I perceive a wave of light of this kind of wavelength. That's the fact. But that thing, red, does not exist. So if you add that fact to another fact, 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 then you're knowing yourself. Starting with the fact that is a lie, that object is true. That is a fact, but it's not real. It's a fact. When we say I know the apple, it's not real. We have perceived some information, and the information has an amount of different vibrations are saved inside us, are registered inside, because there's a skill of nature of record vibrations. So I have registered red and I have registered green, but I have called that wavelength inside me has green and has red, but inside me. But where is the color really? Is the color in the object, or is the color flying in the air in the way of waves and coming into the eyes? Where is the color? In the light or in the object? Can you see? Where is the sound? Is it in the throat, or in the mouth, or in the air, or in your ears, or in the mind? Where is the sound and where is the light? So we have recorded an amount of vibrations and we call them reality. The reality. But where is this amount of vibrations, of impressions that become judgments inside us? And we call this amount of information reality. And if you continue searching about that thing we call reality, for example, the flavors inside me, there is not enough words to explain in this language about flavors, but it can be understood if I say that the flavor does not exist. What we call flavor, it's a vibration too. Even so strange, but as you see, technically, the fact is that there is a sensor and another sensor here. And the sensor perceive a little bit, 1,000 millions of sensors that the sensor perceive a composition, a composition, a chemistry, a kind of chemistry, and that is perceived by the sensor, and the sensor that works by comparison. As you can see, if you try something sweet 10 times, then sweet is normal. And when you try it without sweet, it's not normal. So the sensor has to work sensing during the time. The vibration, the sensation, is transformed in a signal, and that signal go deeper inside us and become a recall, a memory. Is registered and then is used to continue the process of comparing with another signal. And that's the way in this short existence we keep comparing and comparing the perception with what we have registered before. And then we judge in the present. If I say in this moment, do you remember how an apple tastes? Kind of. If I tell you close your eyes and I give you a bit of that thing we call apple with your eyes closed, I put it in your tongue and I don't remember the word, but you do this. The process is perceive, remember, compare, judge. It's apple. You see? This is the inner process. It's a multi-level process. It's sensors, memory, mind process, feelings, emotional feelings. Well, but this is not what I'm studying today. The multiple different process. What we are exposing today is that we or the I have registered an amount of vibrations called information in a very mysterious way, and all that package of information has become memories, and all that is the story of my life. An amount of vibrations registered as the memory of the cell phone. But if you realize that our perception, the info we have of the things, is never the thing, can never reach the deeper level of the thing, we will divide the experience and take it to another level. Is that the experience is processing only inside me, and I cannot know that thing fully. Why? Because the five senses we know are too limited to perceive the full multidimensional manifestation of the thing. Just think about an apple again. And the apple has an inner life in a multiple dimensions and many ways. There are many levels of life inside an apple. And I am not talking about the material only. I'm thinking about the soul of the apple and the essence of the apple. Two different levels. And the five senses we normally use are useless to perceive the real life of the apple. The soul, the feeling of the apple, and the sense of the apple. It's impossible with the five senses. So, necessarily, we would need another kind of sensors. In the same way that with maybe you have heard that there are ways to perceive the other type of vibrations from the things. Talking about the electromagnetic waves. So, with some equipment, we can perceive the X-ray, the X-rays that come from an object, or the ultraviolet waves that come from an object, a physical object. But with the eyes, nude, we can perceive this. Well, it's the same. We cannot perceive the soul of the things because we haven't developed that organ, that part of ourselves that can perceive it. And this is not the goal I am exposing. This thing is just to analyze that it's impossible with the five senses to know the things. We can acquire a little bit of information. So I will give an idea. We don't know anything about things. And it goes against the idea we have that we know the things. But I am giving this idea to, if you allow that idea just to be on the mind, just to be, without fight against that idea. The mind will say, no, it's impossible. I know my wife, I know my kids, I know the world, I know myself. I know I am alive. I know what the apple is. Okay, this is one idea. This is one idea. Consider this idea, another idea. It's just an idea. You don't know anything about the things. What I want to mean is that the amount of information that we can have about the things is so small that we cannot imagine. But I will give another idea that can be useful is imagine for a moment that it's a library of all the knowledge of the universe. All the knowledge of the universe. All the laws of the physical, mental, spiritual things. The whole levels. There are many laws. All the knowledge of the universe. Imagine how big is that library. And now consider the knowledge you have and compare it in your mind. How big is the first one and how small is the second one? Well, that's what I mean when I say we don't know anything about things. What we know about things is too small. Too small. But that is useful to the next idea I will give you. It's just an idea. Human is trying to know and acquire more and more and more knowledge from outside. Human wants to know and to know and to know and to know more and more and more and more. Wants to know. We want to know more and more and more of the outside. So I present this idea. If all the ideas we have of the things are a very little quantity of the reality of the thing, And we can never get with those senses to perceive the reality of the thing in the other dimension of the thing. This is the idea, to know deeply ourselves and destroy all the qualifications, the judgments, the ideas we have formed of the things. To know our essence. You maybe wonder about what? Why? What can it be useful for? Because even if we can access to a big library of the external things, it just will be information. We will never reach the reality of the things with information. The way is to experience. To experience. So we have a confusion in the words, because we hear I know, but maybe I just have an idea of that small things that I perceived that all are false. I mean, a fact, but a fact doesn't mean it's real. A fact is a fact. But the reality of the thing can only be experienced. So we can only experience ourselves more and more until we experience our own sense fully. We could love to know a very deep the apple. But what we don't know, another idea, is that an apple, it's almost the same that us in another moment. There's a stone, it's almost what I am in another different moment. Because all the creation is the same one only thing fractioned and living different experience, but all the experience are the same experience. I'm talking about the energy, the inner energy having a, 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 a journey. And then the energy will experience living in the stone. Maybe we think that the stone has no life, but there's life in the stone. Then the life in the stone, sooner or later, will live the experience of a plant. Then we will have many different bodies, and the energy will continue the journey in animals' bodies. Nature is expert giving and taking bodies. Then, in that journey, in the moment, we'll reach the level of living inside a human body. But it is the same energy in a different moment. And then, believe it or not, in another moment, that energy will need another body. A body like a planet. and it's the same energy living another experience in another level. And then that energy will need another body, a solar system. And then that energy will need another body called galaxy. It's curious. An atom and a galaxy. There is life inside an atom, and there is life inside a galaxy. Galaxy is a living being. A living being. A living. And a planet also. It's alive. So, in this moment, we are in that trip in a moment. And we even, although we do not remember our experience, has an animal, has a plant, has a stone, it's inside us. But the thing is that it's not useful to know deeply the apple, because it will just give me information. But if I deeply know myself in all the levels, I will experience the whole universe. Because all the energy is in the same trip, but in different moments. Meditate on it if you want. Every one of us humans are a group of things, a pack of things, and everything is made by a small parts. So every one of us, it's like a ball, like a sphere, and in the outer level there's a container of flesh and bones. It's a container. That container has in the next level something very interesting, is a personality. And our memories, our instinct. It's another level that must be known. Then that's not the soul. This is a temporary amount of energy. Those two levels, we normally call it physical body. You can prove it because we all lost the memories when we lose that body, that home, this home where we live in. And then we incarnate, or we enter in another body, and we create again the memories. Well, those two layers are temporal, and that's not the soul. The soul is something that is writing the story of our lives. We don't know the writer of the story because we don't know ourselves. Because I don't know myself. I don't understand what is writing the story inside of me. That's the next level. The soul is writing a story, but we don't know our souls. So, the soul is a living process. This is a very interesting way to understand us, because it's a permanent process in the present. A permanent present process. And what is the process? It's like a kitchen with a chef. We could say that the mind is a chef that prepares food, and that food is registered in our memories and is tested by myself. The soul is all the mind process, the emotional process, and the desires that become words and actions. Desires that become actions and words. Those are three levels of the soul. And the sensations are in the second level, in the level of the personality and the physical body. So, physical body, memory, instinct, sensations. Mental process has verbs. Emotional process, desires that become acts. That's the soul. So when I am processing, for example, a comparison, judge is a process. To judge, it's a verb. To judge, it's the life of the soul. See this. See this. Judge. The soul is alive when judge in this moment, and know the level of judging. And the soul knows is the level of comparing between one perception and a perception in my memory. All verbs are processed in this moment. But this is not the reality of the soul. It's layers and layers and layers and layers. And very inside of us is the essence. And the essence is the prisoner of the soul. And we don't know our essence. We know the story. Is the fakest part. All subjective opinions form our stories. The small part of our perceptions of life. Our memories. That's why when someone asks ourselves, hey, who are you? I'm Christian. I'm a designer. I'm father of a girl, and I am son of, and I am very smart, and I am a good person, and all that. I am remembering. It's impossible to describe ourselves with our memories. In the state of consciousness we have, or in our level of consciousness. In another level of consciousness, we could describe us very different. I'll give you that exercise. Describe yourself without using your memories, but using the language you have. It's interesting. It could take some months or years. So, the work I am, my proposal is know yourself very deep, but to know yourself, the real part of yourself, the real essence, you have to go through a journey inside yourself, not a journey traveling outside. You have to know your story, your sensations, the amount of memories, the instincts, all that must be known and must be decodified, and must be, I don't know the word, I know the word program. We have programmed it. We have to decodify it and deprogram. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the word. Yes, deprogram. I don't know if it is, but you understand. It's the inverse way, like codify, decodify. We have programmed. We have to deprogram, because this programmation is the prison of the essence and it's temporal. And the next level, all the subjective process, feeling fear and feeling happy, feeling a process, being afraid of, being sure of, compare, insult, think, qualify. All the verbs you can imagine is a process in the present. Admire. Well, any verb. You know more verbs than me in this moment. And all those processes must be decodified and must die. All those levels have to die inside of us. If we don't clean this process, we will be just like a computer, just like a machine. Capture and capture and capture and capturing information, acquiring information, to have and to have and to have more information. And that's not experience, the essence. That's to know more. That's not experience. It's to know more. It's to fool us of information. The invitation is to know yourself, to get to know the essence in the very deep level of each one of us. But this journey, this is another journey. It's a journey where the direction is not outside. The direction is inside and is unknown for us. We don't know that. It's necessary that someone give you some information to start that journey, and that give us some tools to be able of clear, to make die, I know it's wrong, but to get the process. I don't know how to say that in English. To take the process to the death. It's wrong too. Well, make no, it's not. I don't know how to say. Guide guide the process to the death. If inside me the process of judging, to judge, if that process die, I am free of judge. I don't have to judge the thing for the appearance of the things. I am free. But that it's a level, a layer, a living process that give me false information of the things. When it dies, I am cleaning a layer, and that allows me to go deeper inside me. And when I am not judging the surface of the thing, there's a mysterious there's a mysterious phenomenon, is that we prepare to perceive the deeper part of that thing. It's quite interesting, but just another level. For starting, just the idea of know ourselves deeply. And when this job is done, because it's a job, it's a verb, know myself, then I will know the whole universe, because the process that is process that I am is the same process that is being processed inside the other one. Understand? When I understand fully the fear inside me and I erased it, I will understand the other one. When I understand fully and the whole levels frustration inside me as the result of illusions, then I will understand all humans. But I must to know it inside me and erase it from the program of the programs, because are not real, are facts. Facts, yes. I have an illusion of a perfect family. Yes, it's a fact. It's also a fact that I can be frustrated. As a present process, I cannot say it in English. The language doesn't have. But it's feeling frustrated in the present for many years, maybe. Feeling frustrated is a verb. You see? Two facts. But are not real. Because the family is the family. Every person is a process, a living process. But what I want they to be is my thing. And that thing must die. Because that's what the ego is. A full layer of false process. A temporary process that has us as prisoners. Has the consciousness, the essence, as a prisoner. And that's the way we can free ourselves, free the consciousness that is trapped in the mind, in the feelings, in the ideas that we have of matter. Well, and that's it. And this is uh, a body was named Christian, and I am some kind of energy inside that is living a process of knowing myself. And I have proved by myself that I live inside this body, and this is my home. This body is my home because I have been able to go out of this body, go in, go out, go in, go out, with a practice named astral projection. And now I know I am not Christian. I am something that I don't know, but at least I am a living process of knowing myself. And I am in in a journey to the essence, and I am cleaning those layers, and I am discovering what I am day by day, moment by moment, and it requires some tools, and that's my job, to give tools for that one that is interested in know it fully itself, uh, to know his essence. So we will be sharing again. If the source of the universe wants it. So, how do I say? I don't know how to say that, but okay. Bye.